All right. Last week we had we talked about a world of experts and the criminals, right? We were able to talk about there was a lab that talks about social engineering techniques. We talked about the common trends and the threats arena for last week. And like I told you, we need to put together a group. I think we already have 3 groups. The only thing I want to do is to put in the instructors. We have about 3 instructors in our midst now. And those instructors will be leading each of the group. And the reason is because they have some access to the marketing scheme, which they can actually use to support the labs that you guys are going to be doing. I've not seen any activeness in that area from them, which I believe, you know, every one of them needs to come on board. So Murayo, Anayo is not always available right now. So I need you to take that position to help me rearrange the group again. And Mrs. Ife Oluwa will be one of the lead in one of the group. Mr. Joel will be a lead in one of the groups, and Mr. Dixon will be the lead in one of the groups. Now, they came in for the instructor program, because they are presently instructors and facilitators of the Cisco Networking Academy. They are not supposed to go through this class with us anymore, but because they already registered before they entered for the instructor program. So they will just be like a support to make sure everyone is successful in both the labs and the practicals, okay? And also good support during the exam. So what I need us to do is to have a list of participants from the group and group, or just fix them into one of the groups, whichever way you want to arrange it, please. We need to get that done. Like I said, from June, we're going to be having weekly classes back. And I mentioned you can always come to the office at Ologolo there by LifeMate Furnitures. But you need to let me know when you're coming if you have to come for a practical. I could have a one-on-one, I could have 3 people in the group, because it's an office hour. I can just take off, see how I can sit down with you guys and get something done. So, but what I need us to do, that can be arranged. That's for physical practical, especially those that don't know or are having challenges when it comes to the online practicals that we're going to be doing. Okay, the packet tracer. So if you need to meet physically, can arrange time during the week. Okay, I'm always at the office from Monday to Friday. Okay, so my closing hour is always 5 p.m. So anything we have to do has to be between 12, or let's say between 11 and 11 to like 4. Okay, so that is just it. So okay, I'm sending it. I'm sending the address again, so every one of you can understand. So the practical classes we see how. Then for the IT essentials, like I mentioned, we're going to fix from June. We're going to fix for Saturday and Sunday. Why the cybersecurity is going to be, so we can round up these classes within now and end of the month. Okay. Okay, so what we have today is to continue from where we stopped, which is internal and external threats. We want to see the internal and external threat. Okay, what I'm going to do, I'll share the map. I'll share the Google map on the WhatsApp group, so it's easier for everybody to understand. Okay. Okay, so I'll share the map now, so it's easier. Um, okay, just a minute. I want to share the address again on the WhatsApp group so everybody has access to it. Mm, all right. So let's talk about the internal and external threat. The internal and external threat. When we talk about the internal threat, we're talking about the internet security threat, which are attacks that can originate from within an organization. All right. For every attack you have on the cybersecurity, there is always what we call an internal, attacks, which means some of the staffs, some of the employees, some of the people who works in the organization always carry out information of the organization to the outside people. So attacks can originate from within an organization or from outside of the organization, as shown in the figure. Okay, so we have the cyber criminals, we have the insiders, and we have the outsiders. Who are these insiders? Insiders can be employees or ex-employees. That's people who've worked before and they're no more working, but they still have access to critical information in the organization. Sometimes we have contract staffs, sometimes trusted partners that you trust, sometimes always betray. Okay, so such as an employee or contract partners can accidentally or intentionally mishandle confidential information. So this is one of the threats. Then they can threaten the operations of internal servers or network infrastructure devices. Like I mentioned, for you to have an external network, you first need to have an internal network. And what do I mean by that? You need to have an internal network that carries the entire data you have. It is not all organizations that put their data on the cloud, especially important and critical information. They don't put it on the cloud. Okay? It's always secured in their internal office. Okay, I'm going to use GTB as an example. Yes, GTB is an online platform, but all their information are not online. What they do is they just plug in. There's what they call the back end, and that's what we call the front end. What you have in the front end are very light information that allow customers to have access to what they want them to see. But when it comes to the back end, it is where the entire data is being backed up on. All right. So some people do have cloud backends where they put the whole files on the cloud, but that cloud is not exposed, or is not something the front end people can see. And that is why when you come to programming is divided into two. We have those who are good into the back end of programming. What they do is, whatever they do is for the back end. While we have those who focus more in the front end. But for the cybersecurity, you must be able to be knowledgeable of the back end and the front end. Meaning, because you're covering and you're protecting all the entire data in both places, okay? So one of the key things is they threaten the operation of internal servers or network infrastructure devices. That's one. Then they facilitate outside attacks by connecting infected USB media. There are some organizations that will tell you, we don't accept USB, no matter where you are bringing the USB from. USB must not touch any of the PC. So some of them even disable all the entire USB on their system, which is possible to do as an engineer. You can disable all USB, even if they plug the USB, it will not work, because from your setting, you have disabled it to protect the system, because even the security man standing there can just take flash drive and go and plug it in order to put a malware to the system. So all USB is always blocked, okay? Then we have accidentally invite malware onto the network through malicious emails. You find out that if you send an email to some of the organizations, those emails will bounce back. Reason is because they have put, especially the banks, they have put security. If they are not accepting mails from you, your mails will not deliver. So boxes or emails that they've made available for people to send email into can only go into a separate server that is not connected to any of their data. So, for example, they create customer service at gtbank.com. So you can send all your mails or different kind of mails into that particular mail server. But you know the funniest thing? That mail server will not have connection with where they have the data of people's accounts and information. So when your mail comes in, it comes straight into that file server, which does not have connection to any of the data stored on the system. So that is done by the network engineers. But for you as a cybersecurity, all those infrastructure technology, all those techniques, you need to understand it when you have to work with them. The engineer will take you through all the designs and infrastructures of their network, so you know what to design as a cybersecurity personnel. Okay, so internal threats have the potential to cause greater damage than external threats because internal users have direct access to the building and its infrastructure devices. So there are some organizations, for example, I will always use GT for now because they have the best cybersecurity infrastructure here in Nigeria. Now, what they did to their own technology is they had to build a separate building at Lekki. Now, even from the roadside, getting to that building, number one, you will not see even the signboard or anything small that has to do with GTV. So you will not even know that particular place is their security center, is their data security center. And that is where the entire data, the entire servers, all the network infrastructure of the entire Nigeria is being stored. From the roadside, even to the street side, you see cameras all over the place. The building is a complete tinted glass, head to toe. So the reason is they have started creating their cybersecurity even from the entrance. Everybody that comes into that place has a particular uniform you wear that identifies that, this one is not a GTV staff. So you can't just walk into the place because there's a kind of uniform they wear. And the kind of uniform they wear is different from the kind of uniform the staffs wear. So when you come in as an officer, they already know the suit or the kind of suit you wear. You know, there's a way they created the security infrastructure directly from the gates to you entering there. Okay, so that is a good way to keep a complete cybersecurity from, from even having people to access the building. It is not a building where you say, okay, you want to come and do transaction. Nah, nothing will bring you there. Anything that brings you there, that means you are either an engineer or you're a cybersecurity person who wants to, or a consultant for them. Okay? All you have there is the staff handling, the IT guys handling the security. Okay? So internal threats are very, very, because they have access to the infrastructure device. Internal attackers typically have knowledge of the corporate network. They understand. There are always people with knowledge. That's why today, when you hear that someone is hacking into your account, no, somebody, an accountant, or somebody who is close to an accountant, or someone who has an access, understand your information, has given out your information to those hackers. So nobody says they just wake up in the morning, they just target your account, and it's your account that has the money, and they start withdrawing. No, and information has gone out already from one of the staff inside. Okay, so that alone, a cybersecurity must know. There's no miracle behind that. So then the internal attackers typically have knowledge of corporate networks, its resources, and its confidential data. They may also have knowledge of security countermeasures. They even know the policies that has been written down by the cybersecurity officer and higher levels of administrative privileges. They already know that the company uses 7 administrative privileges. He uses 4, he uses 6. So they give all those information how. That is why a cybersecurity personnel must be available to keep on changing consistently. If possible, have a large screen monitoring servers, put in the indicators all over your office system. So when you see the red light somewhere, you know something is going on. Give it a complete dashboard. You create an alarm messages that indicate that something just happened. Because as a cybersecurity personnel, you must keep record and make sure the record or the data you are protecting is important. Now, the good thing that is happening in today's technology is a lot of smart cities are coming on board now. IoT technologies are coming on board. People are building houses, setting up structures with different IoT technologies. All these IoT technologies require the work of cybersecurity. I was saying it in the last class that I just got, a project to supply some IoT products. Now, my target customers are organizations and the cybersecurity professionals, because those are the people I can actually introduce that tools or that equipment to, that devices to, because the reason why they are the one I have to reintroduce it to is because they will need it. So is more of a security gadget for cybersecurity professionals to set up their offices and to protect the data they have. Okay, so security counterparts, policies, and higher levels of administrative privileges are always broken by the internal people. So let's look at the external. What can the external guys do? The external security threats have their own too, but an external threat from amateur or skilled attackers can exploit vulnerabilities. Okay, what they do is they look at where you're vulnerable and they want to attack it. Okay, they look at the kind of devices you are using. Oh, okay, this bank was supposed to upgrade their device from E27 to E39, but because of the lack of upgrade from the cybersecurity personnel, they already know that, okay, at E27, the services provided by the international body does not serve or support. And that is why we always tell, when you are using an operating system on your computer and your computer is connected to the internet, we always advise, please upgrade, because the technology of today, for example, somebody using Windows 7, just know that you are exposing all your entire file on your computer system to the world. If you are using Windows 7 and you are connected to the internet, none of your file on your system is protected, none. Because the security that supports, the internet security that supports Windows 7 is obsolete. You can't find it anywhere. And when you go to Microsoft website, they will tell you, we don't support this operating system anymore. So why are you using it? So all those information as an IT person, you must know. Yes, I have a Windows 8, it's good, it's this, it's that. Hello, go online. Is any internet security supporting Windows 8? If you're on internet, is your internet or your system protected on internet? You understand? So all those things you need to know, because if your software on your system is obsolete, an hacker can breach into your system in 1 minute and have access to all the data on your computer because you are using an obsolete operating system. So this is very important. Upgrading your operating system is key as well. All right? So these are the things they check. What devices is he using? Is he using the latest one that is supported? Is he using the one that is not supported? So they start using their own software to track it. Okay? So such as strictly to gain access. So an external attack exploits weaknesses of vulnerable devices to gain access to internal resources. So that's what they do. So when they see, oh, the router they are using or the firewall they're using is not the standard one. And that is why every organization that has a lot of data, that understand data, especially these bigger hospitals, they don't joke with their IT personnel. They don't joke with it. Because they know if an IT personnel is telling you, sir, we can have a breach of data if we don't buy this particular device, and you take the risk because you want to save money, and your data is being attacked, then there will be a serious problem. Okay? So those are the things they always check. Then we have what we call the traditional data. These are corporate data that includes personal information, intellectual property, and financial data. Personal information includes application materials, payroll, offer letters, employees agreement, and any information used in making employment decisions. Intellectual property, such as patent trademarks, and new product plans, allows a business to gain economic advantage over its competitors. So consider this intellectual property as a trade secret. Losing this information can be disastrous for the future of the company. Financial data, such as income statement, balance sheets, and cash flow statement, which gives insight into the health of the company. Okay? So that's one of it. We have the organized attackers, which are activists. We have the terrorists, and we have the state-sponsored. Then we have the hackers themselves, which is the black hat, which are the outsiders, okay? We have the black hats, we have the great hats, we have the white hats, then you have the amateurs. Now, the amateurs are mostly programmers that are just in campus, in university, testing their programs on different platforms, okay? So, for the organized attackers, they're always the terrorists, the state-sponsored. Maybe there's a war within two countries, they will hire them to actually hack into, so this is just a diagram. If you all are seeing my screen, you can see that the diagram has explained that a cyber criminal can be outsiders or insiders, okay? And for those outsiders, they broke it into three. You can have the activist, you can have the terrorist, you can have the state-sponsored. Then for the hackers, you can have the black hats, you can have the great hats, you can have the white hats, then you can have the amateur, okay? So these are the three, outsiders that can attack the system of the organization, okay? So let's look at the devices, the vulnerabilities of devices, of mobile devices, because that is the key places. This is where the technology is. Every devices is open for serious attack. From different softwares on your app, okay? Some people just create a software. The only thing that software done on your phone is to gather your information, all the information. I gave an example of some of the software that before you download the software on your app, on your mobile device, always gently read the review of that software. I've noticed a lot of people going to download an app. And for Christ's sake, when you're downloading the app, there's what they call review. Check the review of that app. What are people saying about this app? Is this app good enough? Are people complaining before you start downloading? But I've noticed that a lot of people don't even go there. Once they just see this app is good, bam, they just download the app. And at the end of the day, they'll be complaining. Something is gone with that. This one is, the phone is not doing this. Because not all the app, okay, that is on that platform is protected by Google. Google can always do their review as a normal way, but you need to understand the use of that platform and why you need that platform, okay? Or sorry, why you need that app on your devices. So let's see the vulnerabilities of mobile devices. In the past, employees typically use what they call company issued computers. Okay, employees use company issued computers connected to a corporate LAN, meaning in an corporate office, they always have a one system that they are giving to you at your office, and that system is connected to a local area network. But today, every office's Oga has laptop, another one has laptop, that one has mobile phone. All of them are working. Okay, so administrators continuously monitor and update these computers to meet security requirements in those days. But today, mobile devices such as iPhones, smartphones, tablets, thousands of other devices are becoming powerful substitutes. Okay, and the traditional PC as well. More and more people are using these devices. More and more people are using these devices to access enterprise information. So bring your own device, which is called BYOD, is a growing trend. In an organization you work, they will ask you, what system are you using? You have a laptop, bring it. They will connect your laptop to their device, to their network. That gives you an access. So the inability to centrally manage and update mobile devices poses a growing threat to organizations that allow employee mobile devices on their network. And you cannot say your employee should not use his mobile device, because information that you yourself need, is important. So how do you protect other devices? Because that employee is taking that device somewhere. You don't even know where he's living. You don't know if that employee is living in the midst of hackers. So that particular device coming to the office, connects to your data, and leaves the office to go home. So these are the conditions where a cybersecurity personnel or professional will have to create his own technology or create his own network to protect 100%. So let's look at the emergency of the Internet of Things, the emergency of the Internet of Things. Okay, today we have vehicles with serious security. Okay, we have vehicles with serious security. We have homes. Alexa, we have Alexa, we have some IoT technology where when you get into the house, all you need to do is just talk. Everything within that environment will start working. Now, if somebody access your data, and the person access your voice recognition data and comes into your house and play it, and Alexa listening to it, he has opened the door for you, for the armed robber to come in. So hackers use all this technology this is what they attack. So you as a cybersecurity will be able to create security for these devices. So let's look at one of it. So another thing I want to say, please, as soon as this, because we've connected this since it's 4:30, basically, so the time is going to read, 5:30, I mean, time is going to read. When it goes off, try and log in again, okay? So the Internet of Things, IoT, is the collection of technologies that enable the connection of various devices to the internet. IoT, which is Internet of Things, is the collection of technologies that enable the connection of various devices to the internet. So the technological evolution associated with the advent of the IoT is changing commercial and consumer environment. All right,